to what Dave said in his sermon about K2's path has resulted in a lot of food, as witnessed by all the people here tonight. John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And so that's why everything here is branches and vines and leaves. Because K2 has really taken root, and all of you are the fruit. And we're going to focus a lot of the fruiting in the slideshow and in the video. And so the best food is saved lives, right? Right. And so that's what we're all about. And I can tell you that K2 has a lot of fruit. And I just want a little audience participation here. Who remembers what the letters FTO stand for? Are you ready? Because we are focused. We're tied with each other. And we're out in the community, okay? You got it? Focus on God, tied with each other, and out. So that was our mantra.
David Susie. We want him to be able to hear it well. And we want you to be able to hear it well. So, those of you who are continuing to talk about the center of altars and write it down.
No, I don't have to be here. You can go sit somewhere.
All right, guys. Somebody back in this corner, go around and tell me again. You got a lot of people back over there still chit-chatting. You tell me, please, just give some attention over here. All right, we're getting here. Okay, thank you. Well, tonight we have several people that really wanted to share some memories, some encouragement, just words for Dave and Susie as they begin this next journey. And so I'm going to kick it off here with just a story that I want to share with them again that goes all the way back to 2002. And, it was actually right about this time in 2002, because Abby was just born, she was a little baby girl, and she just had her birthday this week. So, but then you came to us and said, hey, will you be praying with us about this idea of planning a church? And I remember Paul and I sitting down together and praying about it, and very quickly, sensed that God was on the move. God was going to be doing something. And then, as we talked, and this is what I was trying to remind you of, that we not only believed that God was on the move, but we trusted what God was doing in the two of you. And we trusted your discernment of God's will for you. And so, very quickly, our prayers changed from, God, do you want us to go? To, God, if you don't want us to go, you need to make it really clear. Because if Dave and Susie say, we feel like God has said we're going to. And it was because of really years of watching the two of you just walk faithfully with Jesus and trusting Him and discerning His will for you. And so, gosh, it was in July, I think like around July 15th, we are all sitting at Luther's house, and 7 of us committed to say, let's go, let's get this thing started. And then I'll fast forward almost exactly a year from that time. And I remember driving out here in our car by myself and getting into the town. And the first thing I did, I got in here and I had lunch with my brother over there here. And then I went over down to Luther's house and dropped things off. And so, hey guys, can we please bring the talking down a little bit? Because, thank you. All right, thank you. But I remember dropping things off and then driving around, going over, sitting on the back step of Jason and Jennifer Brown's house and telling them what it looked like because they hadn't even seen it yet, even though they had bought it. And then continued to drive around. And during that time, for one of the first times, I just remember feeling really, really overwhelmed. And even thinking as I was going to dinner at this restaurant in San, going in there thinking, should I just call Paula and tell her, don't get on the plane tomorrow, like I'm just going to drive home, like, and the things that were rolling through my mind was, who in the world do we think we are, what the heck are we doing out here in Salt Lake City? Like, this has got to be the dumbest idea ever, right? And during that dinner, as I was sitting there kind of just mulling over that, God created an opportunity to have a conversation with the only other guy in that entire restaurant. And during that conversation, I got to share with him kind of the vision and the whole reason why we were here. And his response to that, his excitement for the idea of a church like this, the people coming out and doing it, completely changed my perspective. But I remember walking out, it was one of those times where I felt like God spoke so clearly. And I remember him saying to me, he said, because when you walked in, you were asking the wrong questions. You're asking, who do we think we are and what the heck are we doing here in Salt Lake City? And what you have to be asking is, who do you believe I am? And what am I doing here in Salt Lake City? And from that moment on, it completely completely changed my perspective. And I want you to know that today, as you guys, 20-some years later, are getting ready to start a new journey, number one, I still believe in you. And I believe in your walk with Jesus. I believe in your discernment of what God's doing in you. And I can't wait to see what that is. And I know, even like you said tonight, I want to encourage you to, no matter what, just remember to ask the right questions. Remember, who is it that you're serving? And wherever he plants you, what is it that he's got going for you? Because when you do that, you're going to be on another adventure with God. And it's going to be exciting to see. So we love you guys. I can't wait to hear what some other people have to say. And then at the end, I got one more thing to share with you. But anyway, first off, coming up now is a guy that really doesn't need much introduction. I saw his face here somewhere just a second ago. When we came out here, there was 3 of us that were officially on staff at K2, along with everybody else. And it was Dave, myself, and Mike Rutledge. And so I wanted to invite Mike to come up. There he is, and share a few words.
Hey everyone, first up, I'd just like to say it's been really cool to take time and sort of reflect. Because so often, as life goes on, you don't do that. And so I started thinking back about the last, 30 years. And some of you may know this, some of you may not. Dave and I have actually been friends for 30 plus years. And I thought people would be more excited about it than that. I'm not that bad of an influence, actually. But we met at Kensington. Dave was on staff there and played in the bands at Kensington. And one day Dave came up and he said, "Hey Mike, would you consider playing in the college and career, which is what he led? Would you play in those bands?" And I said, "Yeah." So 30 plus years ago, we began doing the ministry together. 30 years, I hadn't really ever put that into perspective. And we've kind of had a pretty good run now. And so I started thinking about how my life would be different if we hadn't crossed paths. There's one, that was the beginning of ministry for me. Second, and this is probably more important, Dave was leading the college and career ministry. And this girl, this really, really attractive girl named Susie Jones, was throwing a whirly ball party. And she handed out flyers with her number on it. And I'm like, I gotta call this girl. But I lost the flyer, which if you know me, you're like, okay, that's about right. And, but I realized that I bet Dave Nelson got one of these flyers too, so I'm gonna call him and ask him if he'll give me the number so I can sign up for the party. And he had it. And now Susie Jones is Susie Rutledge 30 years later. So, thank you for that, Dave. And then, let's see. And then, I don't know if you'll even remember this, Dave, but here, we had been attending Kensington. We moved across town, so Susie and I left Kensington to try and find a church that was closer to our house. We spent about a year trying to do that, and we gave up. And that was right at the time that Dave had gone away to seminary and came back. And so Susie and I were back, and Dave was back, and we were at Great Lakes Crossing Mall. And we bumped into Dave. And I don't remember all of the conversation, but I remember it ending like this. And this, by the way, is years before there was any idea about a church called K2 in Salt Lake City. And we're talking, just catching up, and somehow, for some reason, we said, "Hey Dave, if you ever consider planning a church, let us know. We're in." And the reason we were in was because of a couple reasons. First, we knew something about Dave. Dave always pursued Jesus and said yes to Jesus. We loved when you spoke at Kensington because you always talked about Jesus. I'm like, that's something I can follow. And Susie felt the same way. And so we thought it was going to be in Detroit, of course, but so be it. Anyway, so that event happened, and but that was because Dave always said yes to Jesus. what we believed about him. And then, as time went on, this little meeting that we had in Great Lakes Crossing became a reality. And we found out that Dave Nelson was moving to Salt Lake City to plant a church. And the day that I found out, I walked upstairs from being downstairs. My wife was upstairs. She had just found out as well. We both looked at each other and said, we're going to Salt Lake City. And then I thought, I better check and see if Dave's okay with this, because I think I'm supposed to be on the staff, is what I really needed. And he took some time and prayed and said, yeah, Mike, let's do this. And so he took a chance on me. And I'm in a different place in life, different place in the world, because you said yes. I took a chance, thank you. But then I began thinking about like the early launch era. And this is kind of interesting for me, just again reflecting. And all we knew was that we were doing what we were supposed to do when we were following our fearless leader, Dave, who followed Jesus like very few people that I know. And as we followed Jesus, the church began to have growth, and God brought multiplication to the church, and we were getting bigger, and things were happening. It was super exciting. And I just remember thinking back on those early years. I was telling Steve Andrews this just a few minutes ago. I remember the early years, how hard we worked. And we laughed every single day we came to work. And I loved what I did. And I loved the people I did it with. I don't have any other examples in my life like that, how dear those moments were. But God brought growth, and I remember thinking to myself, I think God's asking me to take a step. And so I said, hey, would you think maybe I could be able to teach here sometimes? They said, yes, took a chance on me again. Now I'm doing what I'm doing because Dave said yes. They followed Jesus. They gave me the opportunity. And so, here's what I know about Dave, and Susie too. If you go over to his house tomorrow morning, he's going to be up, reading his Bible, praying, seeking God. He's done this like very few people in my life I've ever met. And that's the reason I could follow. Because I know you were following something greater than yourself. And here's what I know about tomorrow. And the next day, you're going to follow Jesus wherever he leads. And you're going to say yes again. And what I believe is that these next years for K2 are going to be very significant. You're going to see great things happening here at K2. You're going to see great things happening in the life of Dave and Susan Nelson. I just want to say thank you for letting me be part of it. This is a very momentous occasion. I'm so grateful to be part of it. And I just want to say to you guys, love you. I'm praying for you. And may God bless the next years of your life.
Hey, one real quick thing, if you drive a Toyota and you're missing your keys and you can't get home, you're going to have to come all the way over to the front to get them from us, okay? So they are here from out here. I'm going to put them up on this table. All right. So some people really wanted to be able to share their thoughts and their love today, but they couldn't make the journey out there. And so we got a video. This is first one is from somebody you know for quite a long time. In fact, probably your entire life. Because this is going to be just a short message from Dave's older sister, Diane. So let's take a look. That's not her. Or maybe it is.
I am celebrating with my heart and thanking Jesus for my beautiful lives. You are amazing shots. And we bring Jesus so much joy. The people that we're ministering to over all these years are such blessed people. And I wish you great joy. And I pray without a doubt in terms of your life, of giving and ministry. It's just good. And I love you with all my heart.
Another one of you guys I'm going to come and share. He's been part of our team from the very beginning, and he and his wife share something in common with my family is that they just bought a house in Michigan, and then I think he might have maybe just finished moving the last piece of furniture in, and then sat down and go, I think we're going to be moving to Salt Lake City. And so it was a very short-lived time, but I'm going to invite Will Green to come up. And as Will's coming up, I want to ask the rest of you, you're like me, so you sort of listened to Dave today, he was like his top 10, and I don't know that he was fully honest with what was his top 10, because we all know that somewhere in here it was supposed to be that he knows with all his heart that the Detroit Lions are going to win the Super Bowl here soon. So yeah, he's going to want us to know that you don't forget that. So I don't know, maybe it was 11 and just cut it short, but there's just no way that that's not what you're talking about. So, but here we go.
You should mention that. I got a bit on that. But how's everyone doing? K2 class reunion. Heck yeah. We had the Kuglers here tonight playing music. That was awesome. And it's a little remarkable actually because it's remarkable that they stayed with us for any amount of time because our guest of honor here almost murdered Kyle's dad 21 years ago during a K2 preview service. Do you remember that? Yeah, he almost murdered him with a lawnmower. So yeah, like we're in this preview service, and Dave's giving this message about, I don't know, pull starting your faith or mowing down sin or something like that. And you wield your crappy lawnmower out on the stage, and just like right at the height of his message and his illustration, he goes to pull on the lawnmower. You hadn't started it yet, right? In the season. And Kyle's dad was sitting right down in front because he wanted to get a good seat to watch Kyle play guitar. And Dave pulls this lawnmower, and literally like the soupiest level smoke comes out of this lawnmower and just crushes Kyle's dad. I think there's an imprint on the concrete in the red box there that was so much force. Kyle's dad and horror just recoiling. Yeah, this is the roast part of the night, guys. Okay, so get going. Let's go. Anyway, dude, I always appreciate your illustrations. Like whether it was lawnmowers or hot dog buns, you had just a real gift of making God's truth relatable and memorable. So thank you for that, man. I really appreciate it. Another great memory, Eric mentioned the Lions. This memory had to do with September 7th, 2003. It was on a Sunday, but it didn't have to do with church. It was the Lions' first game of the season. And I invited my buddy Dave to come over for some ritualistic torture to watch the Lions' first game of the season. And they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. And just a couple buddies getting together to watch the game. And the game actually started pretty well. The Lions was tied at 14 and a half. But they're playing the Arizona Cardinals. They had this guy named Anquan Boldin. He was a rookie. And some people said that this was like the greatest rookie game for a receiver in NFL history. And he was going off. He was going crazy. And I remember us looking at each other and go, here we go. The Lions are holding in there, but So, thank you for that, and I want to read a verse here. It's Hebrews 10:24 that says, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing." And John Eldridge wrote, "A man needs other men if he is ever to become the man he is meant to be." So thanks for the privilege to be your friend on this ride, man. And thanks for helping me be the man I was meant to be. Love you, dude. And as we said, Rebecca and I are not going anywhere. We're really excited about this next chapter for both of you, and we're psyched to be in your corner on the next chapter. Love you.
So, as many of you guys know, it's actually been an amazing privilege, literally walking through life with this guy over here, like now 50 years, and to be able to say that for the last 20-some years we've been getting to do this together is just incredible. And you don't find that very often. But one of the really cool things that God did, he had this idea of K2 is not only, well, it turns off lights, so but not only did he give us the fun of a long-term friendship, being able to be together and do this, but he did the same thing for Susie. And so I want to invite up a friend of ours, wherever, there she is,
life with my best friend and my sister. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. All right. Well, we're going to take a look at another video of somebody that was part of our original launch team. And she's actually here tonight, but we're going to do it as a video. So let's, thank you. All right, thank you. I'm glad you guys, this actually feels much better being able to talk with you right here. And so let's take a look at some words from one of our core team, Michigan people, Robin Giddings.
Hi, I'm Robin Giddings, and I first met radio in 1991 at Kensington Church when she was singing the Battle of Your Horses by Susan Kirby. This is a great picture. And little did I know that 12 years later, I would be joining Tim, Susie, Sheriff Winter, and several other adult musicians to move to Utah to start Susie. She eventually died. And many adventures have happened. I have loved being part of the community team for years, going to Honduras and Russia on recent teams, helping to start celebrating recovery. It has been a great adventure. The fundraising and priceless, but best of all, the gospel has been spread and many people have come to Christ. And now are living their own ministry of God.
All right, the next couple people that are going to come up are some pretty special people to you, pretty darn special to me too. I love them really dearly. And so let's hear from the next generation of Nelsons, Mariah, Caleb, and the Ashleys from Carl.
You guys want to hear my bad joke that I've been writing? Okay. I had to hold this back because we were in prayer. But we were like, oh, we're celebrating Nelson's legacy tonight. And I was like, I didn't know I was being celebrated. Like, I'm so grateful to be here for that. Okay, anyway. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. So sad. All right. Okay. We're going to keep it brief. We have a lifetime together to tell you everything that we love about you. And we do love everything about you. So it's a good thing that we have a lifetime for that. But first, I really want to thank everybody in here. I lost it when you guys all came through the door because you guys are my family. And I'm just so grateful for every single one of you. What a beautiful place to grow up. What a comforting, safe, excellent environment to discover, to learn from, to grow in. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right. Dad, I have never ever wrestled with believing that God is my father, ever. Because you are exactly how God intended fatherhood to be. It is an easy comparison. But through this, I've also realized how lucky and what a privilege it was to have a pastor and a leader and a guide that I trusted implicitly, 100% without any doubt or confusion, because I knew the leader you were in our home, I knew the man that you were to my mom, I knew the father that you were to me, and if you lead the church like you led our home, there are no concerns. And I trust you 100% with that guidance. That being said, I'm going to miss you as my pastor so much. What a loss. You are a rarity and a gem, and I love you as my teacher, even though I will always have you as my dad. Mom, your love has no bounds. It never has. Even when it was me. That was a tough one, sorry about that. Your heart for all people has etched in mine a desire to see and know and experience love as you have experienced love. Because you've let it break your heart, and then you still love. And it's very powerful to watch. You are Christ's mercy and presence, and I want to do ministry like you do, because you are made for people, and because it is based in love, and that has never changed. Man, what a burden, but what a blessing you guys have carried all these years. I want to thank you, Dad and Mom, for being such incredible parents and not letting the burden into our home so that you could separate the two lives, so that you could love us well as kids. That's so grateful. And I have like zero church trauma being a pastor's kid, which is unheard of from all my other pastor's kid friends. So I'm really grateful to you. And I just want to say that I know that the Lord is going to glorify Himself. Thank you for showing me how to live a life like that and have a marriage like that. And I pray that God would bless you and keep you and cause His face to shine on you. This is what Ashlyn says to you. There has not been a moment during this journey when I have not been utmostly proud of my mom and dad. But she said mom and dad. The way they have followed the Lord, truly known His voice, and sought after His love, it has been a privilege to know and see for everyone. K2 has existed the span of my entire life. The memories are endless and funny and warming and fond. And I can't believe the time has come where we see you both pass on to new times. It's so hard to say goodbye, but it's not a definite goodbye, and there's so much love still to remain forever. From 4K2 till during its glory days and all of the struggling times and everything in between. And now, the coming after, I see the Lord and His works and His love and His sight through you. Thank you. It's not always been easy, but life is not easy and following Him is not easy. But He is the way and He is the peace in the struggle. We praise His name and we send you forth with the greatest excitement and blessings for what is to come. Selah. I speak for us all when I say thank you. Thank you for following Him and loving on us. You're never alone in this, and we love you.
I didn't really get too much, but for 20 years, this church has been more than just a place. It's been a living, breathing story of faith and community. As someone who's grown up alongside it, I've witnessed every chapter, the struggles, the victories, the countless lives that have been touched. And through it all, I watched my dad, with quiet strength and unwavering love, help guide this journey. My dad didn't just plant a church, he planted seeds that shaped and grew into a community, and he carried its burdens, rejoiced in his victories, and through every challenge stood as a pillar of wisdom and grace. Dad, your impact is not just in the walls of this building, but in the hearts of every person that you have encouraged and every life that you have touched. While this chapter may be closing, the seeds that you have planted will always continue to grow, but he didn't do it alone. My mom stood beside him, not just as his partner in life, but as his partner in ministry, praying, serving, leading with a heart just as dedicated to this church family. Today, we don't say goodbye, we say thank you, we say well done, and we say with our love hearts, may God bless you abundantly for all that you have given.
Alright, man, I don't know how you follow that, but I mean, if you ever question what is God doing, remember not because it doesn't get any better than that right there. That was awesome. Thank you guys for sharing that. That was a privilege to sit here and listen to you talk, so thank you. Alright. Well, if you were around K2 in the early days, there's two people that you just can't even say the words K2 without their names being part of it. That's Dominic and Bert Burrell. There you go. I mean, they honestly, they've been amazing. And although their time in Salt Lake were relatively short with us, their legacy has just continued. And so,
Congratulations, Dave and Susie. What a wonderful journey at K2 the Church. We're so excited that over 20 years ago you said yes to Jesus and decided to take the trip and invited all of us. It was one of the best journeys of our life, and all the seeds that you planted out there and planted in us, the Lord just took those seeds and kept multiplying. So it's wonderful that you have this journey. It's wonderful that God's continuing to call you to do other things. We're just so blessed that you've been a part of our life and celebrate this time. And thank you, K2 the Church. Keep going strong. We love you. And remember, you got family here in Michigan, too.
Hey, David, that's Susie. I just wanted to say thank you for creating a place and a space for a group of crazy people to join in an amazing, life-changing adventure. I'm praying and trusting for what's next for both of you, and I want you to know how
Thank you for hanging in with us. I know this is a lot, but there's just so much and so many people that really want to share. So the next person that's going to be coming up is another one of those guys you've known all your life. And it's your big brother, Mark. And what a privilege it's been for me to watch the two of you in ministry together for so many years and to see just what that looks like when family shares the love of Jesus and a mission for seeing the grace. So come on, Mark.
Well, this is just, I've already told you this. Am I doing something? I've already told you this, but this is just a pure joy, being with you guys to celebrate this. I thought I'd just start with a fun story since I have known this guy all my life. We shared a bedroom together for a lot of years. Had amazing conversations actually as kids growing up. I'm a whole lot older. I know I don't look like it, but I'm a whole lot older than Dave. But here's one of my favorite stories. One day when I was after my sophomore year in college, I'm like 20, I think it was 20. Dave and I are walking downtown Lapeer. I don't know what for, shop, doing something. I don't know what we were doing. That's where we grew up, this little town. And these three really cute girls coming down the sidewalk, and they're kind of checking me out. And I'm like, this is cool. I'm this college kid, these girls, until I realized they were checking him out. And he was like 12 years old, and I'm 20, and I was like, I literally started cracking up. I was like, and so I just want to tell you, I am so thankful that God made me be the oldest and I didn't have to follow you. Because 4 class presidencies and homecoming king and all that, I don't think I could have done it, But kind of in light of that, what's been so fun, rich for me to watch with you, is the Lord has obviously given you an amazing charisma. And like you said today, I was a really nice guy, and you were just the nicest guy I loved you. And I just thought it was amazing that throughout your life, as you've just been growing and maturing, I thought you did an amazing job tonight sharing with us your spiritual process. That this is not a one-time thing, or Dave and Susie have, they got the corner on the market for knowing God and hearing Him. And I know you would agree with me on this, both of you, that we come to Jesus a lot more by doing it wrong than by doing it right. But with somebody with your profile, you had it all right. And you could have hid behind that. You could have played that card. I think you probably did at times. stayed true. And so for me, just as your brother, we've talked about this already yesterday, but I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to be real with you. And Mariah, I totally get what you're talking about. That level of trust. I feel like I have that. And Susie, same thing. I feel that from you. So there's a couple things I just don't want you to miss. That list of 10 things was incredible, by the way. Get all those, write them down, and continually review that. That was so wonderful. But there's 2 things that weren't on the list that you didn't speak, but I think you've modeled. And one of them is you've modeled this whole thing of being willing to be vulnerable and open and honest and creating a safe place. I don't know hardly any of you, but have any of you felt safe to be you? Like it's okay? You don't have to pretend? So I would just say, don't underestimate yourself. Tell your story. Because your story is every bit as wonderful as Dave and Susie's story. Be honest. Be real, especially in the areas where you've screwed up. Because that's the ticket to creating relationships with people. So I just thank you for modeling that so well. Now it seems like we're doing the second thing. I should have written it down. Oh wait, I didn't write it down. Let's see if I can remember it off this list, because I think it was one. Here's the other thing, it's kind of related to this. Of all the things that Dave and Susie have done, a lot of you have experienced this, I think it's really a form of intimacy through vulnerability with them, where you've had these conversations, maybe on a deeper and more real level than with anybody else. I bet you a lot of you have had that. A lot of you have been mentored, and Mariah, you talked about how your dad's your dad. He's your teacher. He's your spiritual guide. You brought incredible joy. Just the meals that you've hosted. Well, have a lot of you guys had meals with these guys? I've seen a lot. And they're really good, aren't they? They did that for Callie and I at our house this last time. It was wonderful. But of all of these things that you've given, getting old is hard. I think maybe the greatest gift that I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago that you maybe have given to K2 is leaving me. And I need that because what I've learned in life, and I think what you have a front row seat to, is watching people that could have hung on to a lot of stuff through the years. And there's a lot of safety in running a church with people that think they're amazing. And for them to be open to follow Jesus at this time in your life, you're not kids anymore. You're not trying to figure out your career. But to say, you know what? This is what it means to follow. So I just hope you understand what a gift that is. Because there are so many people that are claiming to follow Jesus. And I'm not judging, but I'm just saying they're hanging out. It's about letting go. So thank you for doing it again. And you're going to do it again. You're going to do it next week. You will. And you're going to do it next year. And you're going to do it 20 years from now. So, last thing, you have a story, but it's not their story. You can't live vicariously through them. I heard a great sentence the other day. God has no grandchildren, only children. It's like he's going to live his life through you, and you can't live your life with him through Dave and Susie. It's just so awesome. And I just think that you guys have demonstrated incredible trust in all of you. Because I've heard a lot of people not want to leave ministry because they were so worried about what was going to happen to that ministry if they left. You guys don't worry. God has you. So let him write your story, be vulnerable, share it, and this is going to be way better than it was before. So thank you so much. Thanks for letting me be part of it. I love you.
So another lady here that's going to come and share is somebody who I know has been a dear friend of Susie's, and has walked with her for a number of years, and I know she and her husband have been part of the K2 stories from the very beginning, and so it's a privilege to say she'll come on up and share.
There were a few things that I learned about that happened before K2 started, and one of them was when the team was meeting before they were moving out of here, somebody said, "You're going to find your best friends in Utah." And I have been blessed by that, and I know many of you have been blessed by that. Dave and Suze know how to carry our burdens, don't they? As I look around, I see many people that I know that they have carried your burdens, and that's been such a blessing to me, and it was a sacrifice for them, and continues to be a sacrifice for them, but it's also a privilege as they take you to prayer, to God in prayer, and your burdens, they also carry them with them, and they love us all so deeply, and I've been so blessed by that. One of the other things that I learned that happened before K2 and before Dave was that Susie vowed never to marry a pastor and never to move to Utah. So just a piece of advice as you're moving forward, don't make those vows. Especially don't say, "We're moving away. I'll never move away." Because we want you here. One of Dave's early sermons, he talked about having a running partner. And it was a spiritual running partner. And Suze and I took that very seriously, and we've been running together for the last 20 some odd years, and it's been such a blessing to me. And I love that that will continue through the rest of our lives, because you have prayed for me, you have carried me, you have loved me well, and both of you have loved so many people well. It was such a blessing tonight to see people standing up that have been impacted by your ministry, and I'm just so thankful that you really gave up everything to come and minister with us here, to love us and to care for us. Thank you.
All right, we're almost there, guys, so hang in. But we have one more video of a man that has definitely been a mentor and a friend to Dave for quite a while. So let's take one look at one last video.
Hello, K2. My name is Nick Boring. I know a number of you out there, and I'm probably a stranger to some who are viewing this video right now. I was the church planting director at Kensington Community Church back in the day when we planted K2, the church, your church. I still remember the day that Dave told us about getting a voicemail from Luther Ellis. He went into his office, he's listening to this voicemail, and Luther asked him a simple question. Have you ever thought about planting a church in Salt Lake City? And Dave's immediate response, I remember him sharing it with us, was, no, I've never thought about that. So with that call, the seed was planted. Dave and Steve Andrews, our lead pastor at the time, started talking about it, and Steve gave Dave and Susie book what I think was incredible counsel. Go to Salt Lake City for a week or so and just hang out and get to know some people there. And that led to, of course, vision casting, building a launch team, and the move. I want to say it was in the 20s or 30s, that moved from Detroit to Salt Lake to plant K2, the church. For me personally, it has been an incredible privilege to be on this journey with Dave and Susie from the get-go. Church planting is tough. Let nobody fool you with that. There are a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And I've maneuvered through these ups and downs with Dave and Susie. And again, as I said before, it's been an absolute privilege to be on this journey. The journey continues, but it's in a different direction now. And Dave and Susie and I have been talking about this for a couple of years, but a lot of you might be thinking in your mind, why the change? So one of the things anybody likes to see is that the preacher practices what he preaches. And I can tell you this, Dave and Susie Nelson practice what they preach, which can be summed up in two simple words: follow Jesus. Dave and Susie have been incredible models to me and my wife Amy. They are Jesus people. Period. So again, why? Why the change? Simple. Follow Jesus. And I've known them to listen to the leading of that still small voice in their heart, the Holy Spirit. So here we go, and the journey continues. So Dave and Susie, as you continue this journey and you make this transition, I want to leave you with one of my favorite scriptures, Psalm 73, and it says this: whom have I in heaven but you? And beside you, I desire nothing on earth. My flesh and my heart will fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And I know He's your portion. God bless you as you go through this transition journey.
That is so like Nick. He just never knows when to quit. You know, he's like, that was pretty good. Let's run back again. So anyway, all right, we got one last person that's going to come and share. This guy is he's a special guy. He's a dear friend and mentor, and has guided and directed Dave through a lot of years, and myself, and privileged to call him a very, very good friend. And so Steve, our lead pastor from Kensington Church, come on up.
I'm kind of excited that I get to kind of go to the end with all the commotions, and just talk to you directly. And I realized watching Nick, I'm gonna create a video soon because there's some things I want you to remember. But everything that's been shared, I'm overflowing with gratitude. When God brought the Nelson family into my life, beginning with Mark and Callie, I had no idea how God had blessed me with the most phenomenal group of people. And Nelson people are still blessing Kensington in Detroit. David's doing an amazing job. It's just more fun to see. But I want to tell a Dave and Susie story. Eric, did you tell them how you would answer the phone? Come up here, just real quick. Come on, just do it. So they were roommates at Oakland University. How would you answer the phone in your program?
Well, okay, I was going to say this because Mark brought up the whole idea about those girls checking you out, coming out, see you're 12 years old. And it got to the point when we were roommates in college that if the phone rang in that room, all I had to do was pick it up and say, Dave Nelson's dating service, how can I help you?
So when we started Kensington, Dave had this super sweet mullet. Some of you have seen a picture of that. That was gorgeous. And one of the reasons Kensington grew in the early years was all these young women coming to see Dave Nelson, not kidding you. But after a few years, my wife Paula would say to me, "So who's Dave dating?" And I'm like, "It doesn't matter, because it's not going to happen." It's just, I give it up hope. I was like, "Lord, no, I'm giving up hope." Well, then Dave comes back from this retreat in Texas. It was like a singles ministry retreat. He goes, "Man, I met this girl. I don't know what happened." Later, I would talk to Susie, and Susie was like, yeah, I was at this retreat, and all of a sudden this guy is stalking me. He's everywhere I turn, there's this guy chasing it, like it's so weird. Is this guy an axe murderer? But it is so fun, because part of this K2 story is Dave loved Susie from the moment he set eyes on her, and he knew that. And so,
K2. My name is
Shut up, Nick. I've been trying to shut up Nick for 35 years. It's never worked. But I was thinking, I have such confidence that God's going to lead you, because I watched how God led through that process, gave you this unbelievably match of this Ezra woman of Genesis 2, this Proverbs 31, this unbelievable woman. So I really feel like the best is still to come, and it all goes back to seeing God's faithfulness in the past. One other K2 story, just because it's probably been forgotten, is back in 2003, on a weekend, I announced in Kensington that we were going to start a new campus. It was going to be a big deal. It was going to be a real stretch, and we're just going to but we think we can do it. We're going to give our life to it. And I'm really pumped up. But the next day, I'm in the office, and Dave walks in and sits down next to me. And he's like, hey, man, I just need to tell you, I feel the ground moving beneath my feet. And I think maybe God's moving me somewhere, and I just heard this voice message on my phone from Luther Ellis, and I'm thinking maybe God's moving me on. And I said, well, you could have told me 2 days ago. I might have done something different that Sunday. Seriously. You just come in and tell me now. It's 2 days too late. But I want all of you to know that watching K2 and the impact you've had in this valley, the love of Christ in this community, it's one of my life favorite stories. The 30 people that went from Detroit, the Rutledges, the Greens, the Morellis, the Winners, you guys, and so many others. Y'all are my Hall of Fame, and I think it's absolutely incredible. And I want to leave you with this. This week, do you ever read the Bible and discover a passage you've never seen before? I was reading Acts 18, where Paul's second missionary journey through Greece, he ends up in Corinth. And I had forgotten that when he gets to Corinth, he's alone. Silas and Timothy have stayed back in northern Greece to build the Thessalonica church and the Philippi church and the Berean church. And he meets Aquila and Priscilla there, who are God-fearers. And so God gives him these two incredible people who might not even know Jesus at the time. And Paul comes to the city of Corinth. Here's what's happening. In verse 9, Paul has his third and final vision that we know of in the New Testament, that nobody knows about it. In this final vision, in a dream, God says to him, Paul, don't be afraid. Keep on speaking. Don't be passive. I am with you. You're safe. And I have many people in this city. And what hit me as I was studying it, I started to cry, because that's exactly what you guys did 23 years ago. That was God's message. Go and do it. And I thought, whatever comes next, I'm thinking God is saying to both of you, don't be afraid. A lot of you don't know this, but when Paul got to Corinth was the richest city of today. There were probably 500,000 slaves, much including the male and female slave prostitutes at the Temple of Aphrodite. It was a totally intimidating environment, and Paul had a check in his spirit maybe for the first time. So don't be afraid. Keep on speaking. Keep on mentoring. Keep on. The best is yet to come. Don't be passive, which I know you won't. And God is with you all the way. And I forgot number 5. Oh, you're safe. That's what Mark said. There's no fear. And finally, God's going to continue what he's always done, bring unbelievable people into your life. You and Eric, of all the churches that Kensington has ever watched, which have been dozens visits. Launching you two guys out was the greatest price I ever paid to plant a church. And there's never been a week going by that I didn't miss you and miss you in my life daily, the laughter that Mike Willits talked about. But you guys, and Eric Winter, he's a pretty good guy. But you guys have done an amazing work. So keep going. Acts 18, verse 9. That's the vision that God has, I think, gave me just for you. I don't ever remember seeing it before. Love you. Okay?
All right. Well, for those of you who have hung on, we're going to be to watch a quick, how quick, it's going to be another video of just what the last 20 years will be, or was. But right before that, this last week, I've reminisced a lot about K2 and what it's been, and all the people who've come and all the people who've gone from K2. And even this evening, you shared your message, like, these last 4 years, it's been a bit of a struggle, and it's like, God, what are you doing? Where are we going? What's happening? And I know that there's times where it can be really easy to think, man, did we fail? Was this really what it was supposed to be? And I want you to know that I feel like as I was reminiscing, God reminded me, it was like if tonight was the end, and we sat there with Luther and Rebecca sitting back there, and Amy right there, and the two of you, and myself, and Chris, and we sat in a little room like we did 23 years ago in Michigan, right after we launched, and we were the only ones left. What a success, because God said, it's not about who we lost and who moved on. It's about God bringing people here, hundreds, maybe thousands, open-handedly loving them and pouring into them, and then launching them out. And the world is different today. The kingdom of God is different today because of what God has done here at K2. And so whatever God has for you next, don't ever let the enemy make you think anything other than you did exactly what God called you to do. You were successful at doing it. And the kingdom of God is different today because of you two saying yes, and the rest of us going forward with you. So we love you guys.
Can we hit the lights for this video?
So I just called my pastor and I said, God, what do you want me to know about my future at K2? And I just felt like he said, you're done. It's time. And then there was a smiley face, which was nice.
I love you, Lord, for the mercy never fails me.
It's like a very gentle, like a father just saying, it's time.
But what's wild is when you open up the Bible, God is constantly working to restore, redeem, to save, but he always uses a person.
And then I just felt like he said, the leadership in the K2's future is not going to come from you.
But here's the point, why am I even up here? You know why? Because I actually heard Jesus and then I did what he asked me to do. And you know what happens when you do that? You experience the living God. The one that we just worshiped, the one who's risen again, the one who has power and glory, and he wants to meet you and change your life. I'm telling you, man, with such clear precision this last year as Jesus made it clear, don't you dare forget why you're here. Don't you dare forget why you're here. And K2 the church is here because there are lost people who don't know Jesus. And we're going to be on a rampage to reach them. And we're going to do everything we can.
So I'm sitting outside, so I text Susie, I'm like, would you come here, please? And so she came out, and I told her,
Yeah, it's important for you to know how godly my reaction was.
was. You know, it's crazy. I have sensed this coming. The Lord has been, I'm watching what Jesus is doing in our heart, in our church, in our life. I've known that the time would come that He would move us on. But the abruptness of it and how real, like, you know when it's the Lord. And it was so real that my heart's reaction was very real. I went back into the house and I wrote in my journal 3 times, I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm not ready for this. I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm not ready for this. I have definitely had peace since then. It's a mystery. When a person puts their faith in Christ and says, I just believe that you are who you said you are, when a person does that, this thing happens where they're united with Christ's death on the cross and His resurrection into a new life, and you become a new creation, able to live. And what we're going to learn about today is not just a new creation as an individual, but you become a part of something so much bigger and so much greater. You know, Philippians says that Jesus humbled Himself and emptied Himself of everything, and to the point of death as a servant of us and His Father. He talks about it, and what he says is that James and John were accompanied by somebody. Do you guys know who that is? Their mom! Of course their mom was there. In fact, according to Matthew, she's the one who sat Jesus down and said, I want you to do this for my boys. All of a sudden it makes sense, right? This is the first soccer mom.
Dave Nelson.
Is that not cool? That is just
sing this. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou only first in my heart. High King of heaven, my treasure thou art.
So if you were here last week, we talked about the making of a hero and just even defining what a hero is. A hero is somebody who stands up for what's right. They always give up their interest for another. They're always thinking about somebody else. And ultimately, they're people who rescue people. That's what heroes do. What the Bible tells us is, by yourself, you will never experience the adventure with God. The adventure with God is not an individual matter. And you guys heard that, right? And maybe you think that. Faith is a pride issue. No, it's not. Those of you who walked in here with shame and guilt, I'm telling you, everything you've ever done, everything you ever will do, God took your sin and He didn't count it against you, which is what that verse said. He counted it against Christ. Christ took your punishment so you never will be punished for what you've done. Can I just get one amen on that one right there? You guys, God, through Christ, has lifted us up. And He's always there to lift us up. And here's what He wants to say to you. You are dearly loved. You are forgiven. You are my child. You are highly favored. You are mine forever. I go before you. I am with you. I'm for you. I know the plans that I have for you. Nothing can separate you from my love.
Okay, here we go again. I'm wondering what will happen in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Wondering if I've prepared enough, prayed enough, feeling all the pressure to somehow be good enough so that you'll be pleased with me, God. And everyone who showed up will actually connect with me. Even though I know you love me, I still feel like I have to perform well to get your favor. And that goes for everyone sitting here too. Man, I want people to get this. I so want everyone at K2 to know you intimately and you're experiencing the life you have for them. Right now, I feel like that's all I want. What if my message is flat? What if it doesn't connect? Well, I guess we'll soon find out. I'm up, and once again, pressure's up.
Anybody else ever have battles in your mind? You may think you can bring me down, but you can't, because I have been lifted up with every spiritual blessing in Christ. This is the only way to handle the enemy, is you gotta know, I'm gonna bring you down. You can't! Because I know who I am! Because I know I'm loved! Because I know I'm valued! You wanna bring me down? No way, baby. I'm gonna bless you with the blessing I've received. I'm gonna love you like the way I've been loved. I'm gonna do good to you like what's done to me. You guys, Jesus and what He is for us is our only hope to change this world. I know who I am. I know I'm loved. I know how valuable I am. I had someone sacrifice their life for me, and He's the King of Kings, and He's the Lord of Lords. He's a little more important than you are. Right? That's what you got to know. You guys, it is really crazy for me, and I know for the rest of us who left everything 7 years ago to come out here and start this place. And we often say, that's what it's all about. And I can honestly say that's what it's all about. Right there.
want to thank all of you for coming tonight, and blessing Dave and Susie. And I think it's time to play some music and get moving. What do you guys think? Wow. Oh, God, oh gosh. Yeah, Dave really wants to say something. So I think we better let him.
Hey, first, Jensen, did you do all that? You guys know that? You guys have no idea how long it takes to research all that, so thank you for all the time you put in, buddy. That's awesome. All right, we do. Hey, just real quick, we gotta just honor people through this journey. So
Yeah, we could not do that. So thank you. Look at those of you who stuck it out this long. Way to go. First of all, I just want to thank the unseen armies of K2. From the day before we even planted, it's always been people who don't need any glory and have no personal agendas. Just like today, setting up these tables, setting up these chairs. I know how much work went into this and how much will go into putting this all away after tonight. And I would say my experience at K2 is that's the hallmark of K2. The people. And you serve and you serve and you never get credit. And I just want to say thank you.
well, yeah, absolutely. And you guys, Karen Joel headed this whole thing up, so can you just give her a ridiculous hours? All right, so let's go fast. Let's give it up. None of us are sitting here without Luther and Rebecca Ellis right back there. And none of us would be sitting here if it wasn't for Steve Andrews, who planted Kensington and sent us out here. And who totally believed in me like I had never had anybody believe in me before. And so you're speaking life into me. As I said, I will never plant a church after watching what it took to do it, unless there's a fire that burned in me. But your undying support, man. You guys, we came out here, Steve let me get up in front of the church and just cast the vision. And that day, the church on their own just gave all the resources we needed for 2 years worth of our ministry. Just unbelievable. So Steve, we love you. Nick Boring, that dude that was up there, he was my church planting coach, and he was an amazing coach and a dearest friend. I just love him. Okay, and then we've got all of you goofy people who moved out of here. So let me just go through the list and let's give it. Mike and Susie Rutledge, Eric and Paul Winter, Chris Winter, Jason and Jen Brum, Tom and Vernon Morelli, Alan and Diane Eckstein, Dewey and Joe Segler, Amy King, Meg Travers, Robin Gettings, Justin and Christopher Burdine, Mike Moran, Lennon Marty Meyer, Bill and Rebecca Green, Stephen Kim Farrell, Kim Shamrock, and Shannon Gott. And then as I have said,
And yes, the first person who hit Utah soil was Amy King.
and I've always said to you guys, one of the greatest things is when God told me, don't ask anybody to join me. Just cast the vision and let me do the asking. And every one of those people, the only reason they came out here is because they heard the voice of God say, yeah, so you're wrong. Quit your job and leave your family. Way to go, you guys. Love you guys so much. All right, and then, hey, when we got here, Greg Johnson, I just want to say thank you. Greg was just super welcoming right from the beginning, sat me down with a napkin and showed me where a church needed to happen. We brought him out to our team, and he helped us understand the culture here, and just really love you. And I don't know if you're still here. Is Bill Young still here? I don't know if he is. He left, but Bill Young was the pastor of the Rock. Man, that's where we were. They let us. He's the first guy I met with, and we were in their building for years, so I just want to say thanks to them. And then our launch team, and I can't give there's too many people, because 30 of us moved out here, but then 70 more joined our team. And again, we said, don't ask anybody to join you. And here's the craziest thing. I'm the only pastor who can ever say this. 100 people on our launch team. And I was glad for every one of them. That's a miracle. And I just want to say thank you to any of you who are here who joined us to launch this thing. And then, our spiritual worship.
This is my one. Over the years, we've had a spiritual advisory board, and as David's wife, I want to say thank you to every person who has served on our advisory board over the years. You saved my husband's life over and over. You sought God, you followed God, you served selflessly, you set aside personal agendas. I can honestly say we would not be still standing today if it weren't for our board. We want to honor Evelyn Bussard, Ellen Eckstein, Eric Lindquist, Kyle Kugler, Sim Leslie, Mitch Medding, Mary Goldring, Peter Holm, Danielle Pimentel, Bill Green, Sally Townsend, Don Soper, Mike Norris, David York, Frank Morrison, Lahua Weaver, Mike Applegarth, Kevin Lathrop, Chris Anderson, and Josh Getzberger. Thank you.
I know lots of pastors quit ministry because of their boards. And Susie's right, we're still here because of ours. And every one of you who served, man, you're amazing. And then obviously the staff throughout the years, there's way too many of them, I can't list all the staff, but just people gave up everything, used their gifts, loved you, created amazing ministries, just incredible. There's 4 men I need to say thank you to, because these are the 4 guys who are above me in age who actually reached out to me. In the 20 years, I had 4 guys who reached out to me. Mike Medding, if you ever watched this from Iowa, that dude welcomed us before, he called me before we ever moved out here, and he never stopped calling me. Met with me for 20 years, and did nothing but encourage me for 20 years. I love that guy. Scott Fine, pastor up in Mountain Life, he would just call me out of the blue, just to see how I'm doing. And that's just, nobody else did that. It's just unbelievable. Robert Marshall, I don't know if you're still here. Robert's the other guy. Just constantly calls me up, takes me out for coffee, just to know how I'm doing. And Bill Townsend. Bill Townsend poured into my life. I just couldn't believe how many times he would reach out, think about me, pour into me. I would rather be here without those 4 guys giving me strength. I just got to say thanks to them. Can we give it up to White Packer and Southeast Church right here? These guys. Unbelievable gracious hosts, and we're so grateful for them. And then I do this one picture right here, the 3 amigos. If we can put that up. There it is. Beautiful. Yeah! I love it. Wow, well, you are looking good, man. I love it. Dude, I just want to say thank you. Steve, get out of my way, please. I'm talking to him. Dude, I just want to say I love you, man, and thank you. And it was, I mean, you guys, so he shared the story. When he came to our meeting, we did this kind of information meeting, and he came up to us, and then he told me he wanted to join our team, but actually we on staff, Susan and I were like, what? We can't like Roberts? Because Mike had played in the bands for years at Kensington, and dude, your creative genius was just unbelievable. I just can't even count how many amazing things you did, and understanding how much work that was. And so thank you for all those years. Thanks for the partnership. And thanks, dude, for asking to teach, because you're a fantastic teacher. You are a gifted, anointed teacher. And man, y'all, the conversation is cranking. I'm so glad you and Susie, way to go, you guys. Way to plant the conversation. And so we just are so psyched for you and pleased with what God's going to do for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Eric Winter. You have been my absolute support through all my life. Believe in me, we have laughed more, I've laughed with you more than I've laughed with anyone in my life. And we always say we have to be friends forever because we'd ruin each other if we weren't. We have enough stories to do that, that's for sure. But when you and Paula said, man, what are you thinking about Salt Lake? And I said, I don't know why. And you said, because if you go, we'll go with you. From day one, man, I just couldn't have done it. And by the way, if anybody who knows me, you know, the church would fold in about 2 seconds without Eric by my side. Because I had no idea what I'm doing. And you held everything together. And just, I love you, man, with all my heart. And then the last group I just want to say is I am so excited. I really am so excited for this next stage. And Jason Dunn, I'm geek, buddy. You go, boy. Take this young crew and just go for it. Patty Orton, our children's director, we're psyched for you. Naman and Chloe, Sadiq, I'm geek, Bryson, and all Diego, and Ben, and Stacy. Did I hit everybody? I want to make sure. Hey, you guys, one of the coolest things is like, I think Mark, my brother, said, is that we can ride off into the sunset with total peace. We are not worried one bit, because I know you love Jesus, and I know you're going to follow him, and that's the only thing that counts, is faith expresses through love. So you guys give it up for the team that's going to take care of this next one. And Ryan, and Caleb, and Ashlyn way over in South Africa. I love you guys. You guys have been just the joy of my life, our life. And thanks for supporting us, encouraging us, and being with us. And thank you, God, for being Miguel Cranky into our family and Mary, my daughter. We love you, buddy. Super neat. And you, right here, greatest gift outside of my salvation. You guys have no idea the tears and the weight that this woman carried walking with this goofy dude. And she is so solid, and I could have never done this, never, without you. You are amazing. I love you. Give it up for my wife.
Well, so now I think we need some tunes. Yeah, we need some tunes. And we're